Let's do this, everybody. Trade deadline in the 02-03 season. We have a ridiculous draft coming up with a team that has just been kind of mid. Kind of mid. Too bad to be good, too good to be bad. The New York Islanders, the growing pains of waiting for the team to develop. So you got a quick look there at the top players in the league by point total. Mike Modano really leading the way. Modano, tomato, whatever you prefer. I always grew up saying Mike Modano, but then I heard more people say Modano, and I just don't know. Marco Dano. Defense, Brian Leach is still killing it. Chara's third in scoring amongst defensemen, though, which is very, very impressive. He's had a great season. All right. Let's find out what is going to happen here at this deadline. We will keep our trade block the same. And we will enter yield deadline. Berezin, Sholtak, Holzinger. It's not an amazing class. It's a lot of supplementary pieces that could help you win, which isn't what we're looking for at all right now. So in terms of picks, we do have our own first. No second, of course, because we gave up a shitload of picks to get Rick Nash. Luongo and Smith Luongo and Lundqvist aren't going anywhere. Smith and Hiller, we'll see. DiPietro's probably gone at the draft. There's just not much value there right now. Defense, I mean, based off of the ages, like, who the hell do you even get rid of, you know? I mean, maybe try to cash out on Curtis Foster if there's any interest. Cash out on him for a third-round pick. You might as well just hope he develops. So we know that there was an offer for Dumont. Chicago's still in for it and has added Bell to the trade without us needing to have Pyatt in the equation. New Jersey's offering Thomas Plekanec in a second. So JP Dumont is a pretty high-value target for a lot of teams. Barzy, what's going on, by the way? Second and a fourth for Verbata. I don't see reasons to get rid of him. Again, like, we really don't have that much to move where it's like, oh, we can ship off this guy because he's not really a part of the deal. Like, we could move this Lapisto guy. Nobody wants him because, of course. I don't really see what we can do. Andy McDonald, if we were to move him. Higgins and a dude named Phillips. Bieksa and Phillips. Alex Steen in a second. Plekanec in a second. So it's clear that we could move guys who are slightly older, which is McDonald and Dumont. But these guys, mid-20s, man. Mid-20s. Barzy, the team's changed quite a bit, yeah. Got Rick Nash at the drafts. We did miss out on Pavel Bure in free agency, though. He went to Ottawa. Nighthawk as well, what's up? Good night, bad team. I mean, that's the big question. McDonald and Dumont. Again, Dumont, 78 points last season, 53 this season. We got Nash third overall. There were two generated players ahead of him. Feels rough to get rid of Dumont. I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Again, Higgins, Bieksa. Let me see how good Plekanec is. Dotch as well. What's up? Plekanec is a 71 overall at 20 years old. And that's fine. That's not amazing, though. 16 points behind Dumont, 4 years younger. Is he going to go up by 16 points in 4 seasons? I don't think he is. It'd be pretty surprising, at least. I don't feel like that's worth it. Higgins, Bieksa, and Bell. The second could be anything. Again, Higgins is a 75 at 18. 11 points for Higgins in 6 seasons. That's a lot more believable for Chris Higgins. And Kevin BX is in the mix. So 70 overall at 19 years old as a medium forward defenseman. And we'd get Mark Bell, who's not amazing, but will be a bottom 6 option. Like, there's no doubt. If we trade JP Dumont, it's to Chicago for this trade package here. They're trying to push themselves further, sacrifice the future for it. The question is, do we want JP Dumont to be a part of the core, or is it, well, let's change the window a little bit from Dumont and the 24, 25-year-olds to like the 23, 22-year-olds, and then Higgins and BX to help out. If we take a trade, it's that trade. I just don't know if it's the trade that I want to make. And again, if we trade Dumont, then it also makes sense to get rid of Andy McDonald for the same reason. If we're going to cash out on these two guys because they're 24 and 25 years old, when the rest of the core is 23 and under, it makes sense to just get rid of them both. Chara's staying. Like, I'm not getting rid of fucking Zdeno Chara. There's no goddamn way. It would have to be, yeah, no one can offer me a trade package good enough for it. Again, so McDonald would have to be Plekanec in a second, which I don't like. I don't like Plekanec. I mean, I do. I love the turtleneck, but at the same time, like, he's not worth it. And there's no trade for both. And Plekanec was just traded to Vancouver. Wow. So now there's no other deal on the table for McDonald. That's rough. I'm going to look around the league really quickly. Cannon, what's going on? We could obviously look for a deal involving a first-round pick. It's a good year to have first-round picks. There is a medium elite dude named Blackburn, but yeah. What do we got for prospects here? Rostislav Klesla. Pittsburgh's not willing to move their first-round pick, though. So... what else? Penner I don't want. Is there a trade? Vaclav Arata, but he's 26. I don't know how many trades are out there that I want. Yuri Hudler, are they willing to move the first? They're not. The Hawks just traded Chris Higgins to Montreal. We were too indecisive. Chris Higgins was just dealt. So both of the trade pieces we were looking at have now been dealt at the deadline, which means we are very unlikely to make a move now. I mean, again, like Kevin BX, Chicago's not even willing to trade their first. They're not willing to go all in. Keith Ballard, Coyotes won't trade that first. Or Colorado, excuse me. I was looking at the Coyotes at the bottom. I just don't think the right trades are out there to move on from these guys right now, so I think that makes up our mind. No one wants to trade their first-round pick for the 03 draft. Can't say that's unrealistic. And I got to be honest, looking at the blocks here on other teams, there's really nobody that we'd want. I can wait a little bit just to see if other trades maybe open up different avenues. But as it stands, it's not looking too good in the trade department. Again, if we go back to Andy McDonald, no trades found now. What about for Dumont? No trades found. Yeah. Okay. We'll give it a couple of minutes. See what other trades go down. What else might change, right? And then we'll double check in a minute and see if there are any other trades. And if not, well, then, hey, we know what we're doing then, don't we? We know what we're doing. Oh, goodness. You ever write something down, by the way, and have no idea what the hell you meant by it? No idea. And then you figure it out because you feel foolish. Anyway. Oh, let's see. Available players, Sergei Zoltok is number 1. Vancouver's made another deal. Yeah, it's not the right market for us here. There's not enough teams that are willing to go all in. So, Barzy, I certainly heard about. Yeah, no trade for Dumont. The trade would have been Dumont for Higgins and company, but then the subsequent McDonald deal wouldn't have been as good. Anaheim makes a deal. I'm gonna call it. Let's move on. Just wasn't the right deadline for us, as the Higgins deal for Brian Savage was deemed a big one. Mika Alatalo is on waivers. 31-year-old depth forward. We'll claim him for the AHL, actually. AHL could use a player like that. So our roster is going to stay the same here. The only difference is that we are going to optimize the youth. Now, that does mean that one of our 3 medium elites will be left out. And it won't be Zetterberg. So I think the second line is going to be Conley, Dumont, McDonald. We're going to stack them on the line where they're all happy. Zetterberg is there with either Heatley, Spezza, Nash. One of them is left out and on the third line with Pyatt and Verbata. Chemistry-wise, it makes sense for it to be Danny Heatley. Not that we'd have a natural center there. Heater would play center, actually. How do I feel about that particular set of lines? Nash, Zetterberg, Spezza, Connolly, McDonald, Dumont. We'd want to rearrange that. And then Verbata, Heatley, Pyatt, Darsh, Kapanen, and Danye. In fairness, we could just move Pyatt down to the fourth line for Nico Kapanen. Could do that too, so that Heatley's not playing center. Might be the best way to do it. Again, get the medium elites onto the line. I feel bad about Heater, but he is technically a third liner playing on the third line. So at least this way our youngest dudes are getting the best chance. It's Zetterberg or Heatley that gets dropped, though. It sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's literally one or the other. So, defensively, Char and Campbell stay as the top pairing. We'll leave the defense as it is, along with DiPietro. I think we're fine from there. Heatley playing center feels cursed, yeah. AHL, we can go best lines. We want to take out Alatalo for Colby Armstrong, and aside from that, the rest of it's good. Yeah, the rest of it's fine from there. We'd have Joel Lundqvist play defense, even though it'd be terrible chemistry-wise. Why not? And Lundqvist and Stanya. All right. Let's ride it out. Let's ride it out. We'll get the other guys set up in terms of ice time. We're not too worried about winning now at this stage, which means we probably will. And hey, it's either we do well enough to sneak into the playoffs, or we do poorly enough to end up with a good pick, or we keep up the status quo, and that's probably the worst thing that could happen, but it is what it is. Barrett Jackman gets injured down in the AHL. Nico is already healthy, so we'll get Esa Piernas out of there. You got Zetterberg showing up as an 85 now. He's loving life. Tim Connolly, injured ribs. So Piernes will be back in. That will allow us to move Danny Heatley up to the second line with Tim Connolly being hurt. So that actually works out pretty well. So we'll be able to go Heater, McDonald, and Dumont. And then we'll bump up Pyatt. And there we go. So that works out. Danny Heatley ends up on the second line because of injury. I'm not really complaining. Tim Connolly. Then again, Tim Connolly could still get better. So, I mean, hey, Meg, if the game does crash right now and we get a chance to resim the season, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain. It might mean that this team actually goes somewhere. All right. Home stretch here. Still playing 500 hockey. Connolly is healthy. So that wasn't too long that he was out for. There we go. All right. April 1st. 3 games left this season for your New York Islanders. 4 games. I missed one. Never mind. Thought it was 3. 33, 32, 10, and 3 on 76 points. Okay, we're still not there yet. There's 3 playoff spots left. We're 4 points out, but the Penguins have 3 games at hand. It's not looking great in terms of our chances of making it here. But we're not completely screwed. Let's see what happens. We pretty much have to win out, though, to give ourselves the best chance. The Philadelphia Flyers are first, as the Penguins are now, oh my God, they're 8 points ahead with a game at hand. Yeah, we'd have to win out just to have a hope in hell. We do shut out Philadelphia. If we beat Tampa, it might get interesting. It's not over. Making a deal with the devil on this one, judging by the song. It's over. Fuck. We're going to miss out. We're 5 points back of the Flyers. They have a game at hand. That is GG's. No playoffs for the New York Islanders. Too bad to be good, too good to be bad. That is exactly where we were this season. We'll have to hope for some good lottery luck as we are just winning games now left and right at the end of the season. Too little, too late for the Islanders. It was a good season in terms of prospect development, but not good enough to make the playoffs. 37 wins, 32 losses, 10 ties, and 3 overtime losses. We actually finished 3 points above the New York Rangers. We are the Minnesota Wild. Oh, God. From the Eastern Conference, the 3 divisions, you have the Devils winning the Atlantic. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia also made the playoffs. From the Northeast, it is Montreal winning the division, with Buffalo and Ottawa making the playoffs. And in the Southeast, the Florida Panthers, who won the conference, made it, as did the Washington Capitals. Meaning in the Eastern Conference, we were the best team to not make the playoffs. We're going to need some lottery luck, aren't we? Probably the lowest lottery odds, depending on what happened in the West. We start off in the Central. Chicago and Nashville have made the playoffs. Shocking for Detroit and St. Louis. Edmonton, Colorado, and Vancouver have made it out of the Northwest. And in the Pacific, it is Anaheim, Dallas, and Arizona. So the top team in the league, the Anaheim Ducks, one of just 3 teams to finish with over 100 points on the season. Carolina finishes in dead last, as we were, in fact, the best team to not make the playoffs. I hate it here. A lot. There we go. Let's go with that one next. We have fun here. Anyway, that doesn't make it feel any better. I mean, again, it is a sign of progress, but yeah, just, I don't know, it's a bit weird. I said I wasn't going to be upset, but I'm kind of upset. Henrik Zetterberg led all forwards in points with 70 as a rookie. He had 68 for Tim Connolly in 73 games. Dumont had 66. McDonald, Heater. Nash with just 47. Rabada 43. Spezza 43. But still, none of the younger players had less than 43 points, which is incredible, outside of like Taylor Pyatt, who was mostly on the fourth line. So, pretty good. Pretty good. 67 points for Big Z. 56 for his defensive pairing partner, Brian Campbell. Really, every defenseman was decent at putting up points. Not bad. And in goal, Luongo finishes with a 914. Rookie Rick with an 893. Yeah. Let's take a look around the league here. Good chance that we'll have a Calder winner. Leading scorer, leading point getter, Tony Amani. Also over 100 points. Yager, Solani, Correa, Martin Straka, Robert Lang, Joe Sakic, Mike Modano, Pavel Bure, Trevor Linden, Pavel Demitra, Doug Waite, Alexei Zhamnov, Alexei Yashin, and Robert Reichel had 99 points. Holy scoring. Good Christ. And for 50 goal scorers, you had Bure on 70, Amani and Yager both over 60, and Bondra and Sakic also eclipsed 50 with 49 goals for Keith Tkachuk. Can you do this with an expansion? You cannot, unfortunately. There's no way to add in teams mid-franchise. I wish. But that does not exist. If you wanted to, you could theoretically add in, Minnesota and Columbus a year early. If you wanted to. At the start, yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't put them in to have the 30 teams. And then obviously you just wouldn't worry about Vegas and Seattle. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't add in those two teams. You'd have to do some work to basically give them a shit starting roster. Because technically Snipe didn't set up the rosters to be that way. But, which to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised Snipe didn't do that for the sake of the 30 teams. But also, it's interesting to be in an era with 28 teams. So, there you go. Shout out to Brian Leach. In fairness, too, I mean, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to just move everything forward a year with a different file. So, who knows what he'll do. 94 points for Brian Leach. Say hello to your Norris winner. As Niedermeyer, Zubov, Chara, and Roman Hammerlick round out the top 5 in scoring. 26 goals for Leach and Rob Blake. Hammerlick also hit 20 on Ottawa. For the goalies, the winningest, Montreal's Jeff Hackett. The shutout leader with 5, Guy Hibert, even in his advanced age. And for save percentage among starters, surprise, surprise, Martin Brodeur up there with Ed Belfour and Roberto Luongo by the end of the year was actually pretty good. For the rookies, hell yeah, brother, Henrik Zetterberg. Eat your heart out, Brad Isvister and Olli Jokinen, huh? That deal looks to be working out pretty well for us right now. I wasn't quite sold. Louis Paré, who was a generated dude. Just consider him Crosby. It'll be fine. Martin Erat was up there. Heater as a rookie. Rick Nash as a rookie. Obviously, Rabada and Spets over there, too. But it looks like Henrik Zetterberg is going to win the Calder, unless they give it to Nick Backstrom, but only a 908, so I doubt it. Certainly not going to go to Rick DiPietro. But that is it for the NHL regular season. In the AHL, however, the Chicago Wolves actually won more games than they did the prior season. 3 more, if I'm not mistaken. The defending Calder Cup champions, 64 wins. Good God. They are cooking heading into the playoffs. Send Spets and Heater down. I don't want to mess anything up with them being NHL caliber talents. Wonder how the K-Wings did? Ooh, I should look. The only guys I'd consider sending down are Kapanen and Pirnez, and at that point, who cares? So, got to deal with the goalie situation at the draft, probably. Shout out to Trent Hunter, 79 points, 39 goals. Let's actually take a quick look. The best and worst of the league. The Wolves were the best team in the league, 134 points. No surprise. The worst team in the league, not the K-Wings, but the Portland Pirates. But they have won a Calder Cup in this timeline, so it's fine. Another Calder Cup, I should say. Shout out to the K-Wings, who weren't complete trash this year. Decent little improvement for them. So we will follow along in the AHL for the second year in a row. As, again, 60-plus win team. You never know. They take on the St. John's Maple Leafs in round number 1. Not going to get too invested unless they make it far into the playoffs. It's a 1-1 split so far. Make it a 2-1 in our favor. 3-1 in our favor. Christian Berglund gets hurt. And hey, they win it in 5. Very nice. As the Chicago Wolves move on to the next round, the second round, round 2, after taking care of the old Maple Leafs, and now they draw the Worcester Ice Cats. 42 wins for Worcester in round number 2 here. 42 wins in the regular season. We're down 0-2. Meet Chicago, same as the old Chicago. Worcester. Worcester. We may have discovered something. Worcester. Ah, Worcester. Fuck. Well, the title defense comes to an end at the hands of the Worcester Ice Cats. Eliminating us in 5 games, was it? Antti Laaksonen, Ryan Johnson, Jamal Mayers, Franz Nielsen, Sammy Paulson, Wendell Clark, Patrick Sharp. I mean, they had some guys. They had some guys. I can't be too upset. Who was their goalie? Brent Johnson. I can't be too upset. They were a decent little team. I had lesser expectations for the Wolves this season. Regular season wise, they blew my expectations out of the water. Playoff wise, they couldn't quite get it done. Last year was the big year, though. Zetterberg, Heatley, and company. The Anaheim Ducks, surprise, surprise, they are mighty once more. Stanley Cup champions in Anaheim as the Grand Rapids Griffins claim the Calder Cup. 2003, the Ducks get it done, beating New Jersey. Oh my God, Snipe, your rosters are insane. Every single year has either been a rematch or a final that actually happened. The Ducks win it in 7 over the Devils. In real life, the Devils beat the Ducks. Holy shit. It's just a coincidence of the sim engine, but my God, that's awesome. Seriously, what the hell? Wow. Anaheim wins it. Incredible. As Grand Rapids beat Kentucky in 5 games to claim the Calder Cup. Cool. Obviously, we have seen the Ducks team recently. It is absolutely ridiculous, is the only way to put it. Korea, Solani, Yashin, Tverdovsky. I mean, it's an insane team. It really is. In terms of the award winners, our first 4 champions: Dallas, Detroit, Buffalo, and Anaheim. Your Art Ross winner this season, Tony Amani, the first non-Duck to win it. Hart Trophy, though, went to Paul Kariya, 3 straight years that it's been a Duck. The Norris goes to Brian Leach for the second time in 4 seasons. Lady Bing goes to Mr. Straka. The Calder to Henrik Zetterberg. Let's go. Paul Kariya wins the Conn Smythe. The Vezina for the 4th straight season to Martin Brodeur. As well as the Jennings for the first time, actually, in this timeline. Dude named Hadobin won the Masterton. The Jack Adams went to Washington's coach. Selke to Joe Sakic for the second time in 3 seasons. Ted Lindsay Award for the second year in a row goes to Paul Kariya. And the Rocket Richard for the second season in a row, although with a different team this time, it's Pavel Bure. In the AHL, a dude named Bordeleau was the top point getter. Shane Corson was league MVP. Young Alex Semin for the Hartford Wolfpack was the top goal scorer. Was also the rookie of the season. Christian Ehrhoff was the top defenseman. Henrik Lundqvist, goalie of the year for your Chicago Wolves. Oh, baby. And the MVP of the playoffs, I believe that's Grant Marshall. Grant Marshall joins Danny Heatley as an MVP of the playoffs, the winner of the Butterfield. So that is the 2002-2003 season at a close. Up next, the draft. I highly, highly doubt that we will have any lottery luck whatsoever. The Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Patrice Bergeron sweepstakes. That's got to be awkward.